Good morning. So I was listening to Jay Shetty. I love his podcast. And it was all about limitations and how to become limitless. And to me, when I sit down and I question and I think about these things, like, is this possible? Am I on the right track? Am I, and the self-doubt comes, and then you hear somebody's voice and you're like, oh my gosh, they doubt it too. And so you start really downward spiraling. And he posed a thought, and it came to my mind, a question about limitations, in that, are these the standards that we are setting for ourselves, or are they actual limitations that we have in our life? And what does that mean? When you start reflecting over, when you say, I have this limitation, is that an actual truth? Or is that something that you're just more afraid of to get outside of your comfort zone over? As I reflect over my own insecurities, I have these moments, these waves where I feel like everything's going amazing, and then something will happen, someone will say something, and then I start questioning everything, and I have to really raise my vibration, get back into that flow, and remind myself of my own inner power. Like yesterday when I was talking about the fact that I've been studying this stuff for 13 years. That's one of the things I have to put at the forefront of my mind, is like, I'm not going to listen to other people because I know what I'm doing. I've done the work. I've worked through being at my rock bottom and moving my way up throughout my lifetime, and so you have to take a step back and remember those things. Like, when you're feeling unworthy, you just have to dissect, like, why is this surfacing for me? And when you're making changes, you're going to have things that come up and that surface, and you're just like hit in the face with 1,000,001 different things. And it's up to you to decide, do I want to keep this? Do I want to be with this forever and always in my life? And sometimes there are things that we just need to clean up, right? It's not always going to be this, I have to let it all go. Sometimes it just means that I need to understand it better. And when you take the time to do the reflections and have standards in place for you, or different things that you need for your own sake, right? That's how you continue to progress forward. For me, I start reading, I start journaling, I listen to music, I even meditate, and sometimes meditation doesn't help me. Sometimes it spirals me because I can't calm my mind down. So I have to turn to those other methods, like music and being in a higher state of vibration. Walking in nature 100% helps, right? Those different tools and ways to get myself out of that negativity spiral. And so let me just ask you, do you have something that you do whenever you're starting to feel that self-doubt? And if you do, share it with me. I would love to know how you grow yourself out of feeling those negativities and those doubts. The second thing to remember, when you're starting something new, you have to find what works for you, because it's going to look different for everyone. We all have these different ways and processes that work and align for us. And that's why, like, when I'm working with a client, it's hard for me to define something specifically to put out there, because it is always it's connected to that person, what's going to work for that person. And I do that by hearing what they actually need, and it's all spoken through your inner words. And so when you're starting to do this healing process, it's going to look different for you, because you are unique. You are somebody that's an individual. So remind yourself of that. You don't have to follow what everyone else does just because that's the way it's always been done. And I highly recommend that you remind yourself of that. If anything else, remind yourself of that.